What is up, everyone? Fiery Fairy coming at you today with an in-depth tutorial on how to utilize the tools in the Paint Shop feature. I'm going to show you everything from shapes to colors, materials, opacities, everything you need to know to successfully recreate any one of my tutorials or have a better understanding on how to create your own paint jobs and emblems. First off, we're going to worry about the shapes. If you look at the bottom bar, you'll see the layer I've used and the shape I've used. If you look in the upper right hand corner, you'll see the position, scale, rotation, color, and opacity. First off, we're going to worry about the position, scale, and rotation of the shape that you picked. For layer 1, I always like to use a solid backdrop so I can really see what I'm doing. So we're going to start off with layer 2. The left joystick is going to change the position of your shape, and the right joystick is going to change the scale of your shape. You can make it bigger or smaller. If you click on the right joystick, you're able to skew your shape. And then we're going to worry about the rotation, which would be the L2 and R2 buttons. L2 will rotate to the left, of course, and R2 will rotate to the right. Once you have your shape mimicked and the position, scale, and rotation, you can also flip it by pressing the big rectangle button in the middle of your controller, or you can toggle the outline by pressing the square button. So once you've copied the position, scale, and rotation, if your shape isn't looking like mine, make sure you see if I've flipped it or toggled the outline, and you'll be able to see that in the bottom boxes here. Now that you have your shape and all your numbers have matched up, we're going to move on to colors and opacities, and also gradients and materials. First off is the color. You press the triangle to change the color. Whatever color I've used will be highlighted in a yellow box. If I've used a gradient, you're going to press the big rectangle button in the middle of your controller, and that's how you change the gradients. There are two types of gradients. There's the linear and the radial. To switch back and forth, you're going to click on the right joystick. They each have two colors, so we're going to work on the linear first. So you're going to match up color 1, and then you're going to match up color 2. You need to worry about the offset and spread. Once you have those numbers matched up exactly to mine, there's a gradient angle. You change the gradient angle the same way you rotate your shape, but when you're changing the gradient angle, it moves the colors, but it doesn't move the shape. So now that you have color 1, 2, offset, spread, you're going to make sure that your gradient angle is the same as mine. That way you'll have the same effect on your shape. If I happen to use the radial gradient, the gradient angle does not matter. You can spin it all you want. It's not going to change anything. So you just need to worry about color 1, 2, and the offset. We're going to worry about the opacities. To change the opacity of shape, that is the R1 and L1 buttons. The L1 will make it more transparent, and the R1 will make it more solid. It works the same on a double shape. Both colors will change at the same time. You can make them both transparent or both more solid. Sometimes, and very rarely, you're going to want to pay close attention. I may have different opacities for the two different shapes. To see that, you'll go into Color Picker. Color 1, you can change it by itself. And then you can scroll over to Color 2 and change that by itself as well. It's not often that I do that, but it is a feature that is in the game, and so it's something you'll want to pay attention to when you get to this part of the shape. You'll have the color 1 opacity color and color 2 opacity color. They're not always both the same, but 99% of the time they're both going to be the same. Next we have the materials. To change the material, you're going to press up on the D-pad. You're going to highlight the material that you're using. You don't click on it, you just highlight it. You can use the right joystick To stretch out the material, make it bigger, or you can make it smaller. If you use the left joystick, you can move the material up or down. And as you see, it doesn't move the shape, it just moves the material about. And you can also use the L2 and R2 buttons to rotate the material. So if I use a material, make sure you look in the upper right hand corner and copy the material position, material scale, and material rotation. For those of you who've watched my videos, you'll see I'll go from each box and I'll have the shape appearing into place. It just saves me a lot of editing time, and so that's why I do it like that. But as the material is appearing into place, you're going to look at the box first, see the shape that I've used. You're going to pause the video and copy the position, scale, rotation. See if I've toggled the outline or if I flipped the shape. And once you get all that information exact, you can unpause the video. We'll move on to colors next. And this is always the order I go in when the shapes are appearing. I'll have it appear to whatever opacity it's on. So if it stops at a 50, you're going to want to stop at a 50, or whatever it stops at. You're just going to match that up. Then you can go to the color picker, pause the video, select the same colors that I have, copy the offset and the spread, the opacity color 1, opacity color 2, and the gradient angle. See if I've used linear or radial. Once you have that copied, I'll show you the material I've used. If I've used a material, you'll see the material, and you can pause the video here and copy the position, scale, and rotation of that. And then I'll keep moving on to the next shape, having them each appear into place. And that would be the order that you copy the information in. Now when doing the top part of the gun, it's really hard to do the sides. You have to keep on flipping over to actually see what you're doing. So when you're watching my videos, you'll see the shapes appearing into place like so. And then you're going to be copying all the information like you normally do. But sometimes you'll see a shape appearing, but you won't see it on the gun. That's because it's on the side of the gun. So don't worry about that. Once you flip the gun over, you'll see that it's on the other side. Like so. So all you need to worry about, rather than flipping the gun back and forth and wasting time, is make sure your position, scale, rotation is the same, the toggle outline, the flip. You're going to then match your colors. You're going to match your gradients. You're going to match your gradients. And then you're going to match your materials. Once you have all that information, if you want to click over to the side and see that the shape is there, it will be. Just trust that the numbers are right. And you'll just keep moving along until the top of the gun is done. Once you flip it over, you will see that all the shapes that weren't appearing did appear on the sides of the gun. Sometimes I'll use the same shape over and over and over again. So to prevent you from having to copy all of the information exactly, there's a method called CopyPaste. To do that, you will highlight over the shape that you're about to copy, press the big square in the middle, use the D-pad to go over to the next empty space and press Options. Once you've done that, you click on the shape and you can move it over, and that's going to just save you the time of having to copy the color and the scale and all that. You can just copy, paste, and move. And you can do that over and over again until you see that we've moved on to a new shape. Copy paste also works for other sides of the gun. You select you hover over the shape you want, press the big square button in the middle, flip it over, and Options. You can continue to do that until the whole gun is the same on both sides. As you can see, when I flip it over, the shapes are not going in the same place. It's because the gun is facing a different direction, the angles, the curves, both sides of the gun are usually not the same. So this doesn't always work smoothly. When it doesn't, you may have to manually move them once you flip them over to the other side to get them how you want them. if I've done anything on the other side where it was more than copy paste, I will pause on that section for a second so you can copy the position, scale, and rotation if I've had to change anything. But if I don't change anything and you just see the gun flipping over, then you know I was just copy pasting and there's nothing that you'll need to worry about. See things like this, sometimes I might have to add a couple other shapes just to fill it in, just because it doesn't copy over exactly like the other one did. Say there's several colors that you want to change at once. You don't have to go to every single shape individually. You can press up on the D-pad and keep scrolling over, pressing up on each shape, and now you've selected all the shapes. Once you've done that, you're able to stretch them out and resize them. You can rotate them and you can move them about. You can also change the colors of them all at once. The gradients, you can change all that. And it saves some time if you make a pattern of mine and you don't like the colors I've used, you can easily just, once you're done with the tutorial, you can select all the colors and change them all at once. And just be creative with it. Just have fun with these. My tutorials, you don't have to do them exactly how I do them. I love seeing your creativity, and I'm just trying to give you the tools you need to create custom paint jobs. What you do with that is on you, but I just hope that you can use my tutorials as a guideline. If you don't want to use them on the same gun, you can see how I've used the shapes, how I've manipulated them, and what colors I've used, and you can easily transfer these to other guns. It's just whatever you want to do with it. So I really hope this video helped you out and enlightened you as to how to use the tools, because I know it gets a little complicated sometimes, but as long as you follow the box in the upper right hand corner, you'll always be fine. And with that being said, thank you for watching. I really hope this helped you out, and until next time, peace.